Have you ever found yourself staring at the bathroom mirror and thinking, why does everything feel different? Maybe it's taking a little longer to go, or you're going a little too often. Maybe your stomach feels heavier than it used to, or you've noticed bloating, gurgling, or discomfort that wasn't there before. You haven't changed your diet. You're still trying to stay active. But your gut? It's writing its own rules. If this sounds familiar, you are far from alone. What's happening in your bowels after 60 isn't something people like to talk about, but it is something most people experience in one way or another. It's natural, it's normal, but it can also be frustrating, uncomfortable, and sometimes even a little embarrassing. That's why today we're going to talk about what's really going on with your digestive system as you age, and more importantly, what you can do to support it. Because your gut is more than just where food goes after a meal. It's where energy is made. It's where your immune system lives. It's even where many of your emotions begin. And when your digestion isn't working quite right, the effects can ripple out into every part of your day. Now, let's start with one of the biggest changes people notice: constipation. It's not glamorous, but it's real. As we age, our digestive muscles, the ones that help move waste through the intestines, tend to slow down. It's a bit like traffic on a country road. In your 20s and 30s, everything moves along at a steady clip. But after 60, you might hit more slowdowns, more pauses, more delays. That slowing down has a name: decreased peristalsis. It just means the wave-like motions of your intestines aren't quite as strong or as frequent as they once were. And when that happens, waste takes longer to move through your colon. The longer it sits, the more water gets absorbed, and the harder it becomes to pass. That's when you start to feel backed up, bloated, or like things just aren't moving like they used to. But here's the thing, it's not just the muscles that change. Your body's hydration levels also shift. As we get older, we tend to feel less thirsty, even when our bodies need water. That means it's easy to get dehydrated without realizing it. And when there's not enough water in your system, your stools become dry and compacted. It's like trying to push a dry sponge through a narrow pipe. It just doesn't want to move. So if you've been feeling like your bathroom routine has become irregular, uncomfortable, or unpredictable, your first line of defense might be as simple as a glass of water. Staying hydrated, really truly hydrated, can make a big difference in how easily your bowels move. And it's not just about drinking when you feel thirsty, it's about building hydration into your daily rhythm. A glass when you wake up, sips throughout the day, a warm herbal tea before bed. These small habits can gently support your gut without drastic changes. Now, hydration is one part of the picture, but let's talk about what's going on with your gut bacteria. Yes, your intestines are home to trillions of tiny organisms, your microbiome. These little helpers break down food, support immune health, and even help regulate mood. But after 60, that delicate balance of bacteria can shift. Whether it's due to medications, diet, or simply the passage of time, many people find that their microbiome starts to lose some of its diversity. What does that mean? Well, when the good bacteria are outnumbered, it can lead to more bloating, more discomfort, and a gut that feels like it's working against you. Maybe you're feeling gassy after meals, or maybe your digestion is just off. These are subtle signals that your microbiome may need some extra love. Supporting it doesn't have to mean expensive treatments or fancy supplements. Often it starts with fiber, soluble fiber from fruits, vegetables, oats, beans. These foods feed the good bacteria and help them flourish. They also add bulk to your stool, which helps things move more smoothly. And fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and miso, they can help restore beneficial bacteria naturally. Little by little, you begin to build a healthier gut from the inside out. Another thing that often goes unspoken is how medication affects your digestion. After 60, it's common to be on a few prescriptions, maybe for blood pressure, cholesterol, pain, or sleep. But many of these can slow down your digestive system or upset the balance of bacteria in your gut. Some pain medications can cause constipation. Certain antacids can interfere with nutrient absorption. Even antibiotics, while important, can wipe out the good bugs along with the bad. That doesn't mean you should stop your medication, far from it, but it does mean it's worth having a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist if your bowels have changed significantly. You might be able to adjust the timing, the dosage, or add supportive habits that make digestion easier. Because the truth is, your gut health isn't just about avoiding discomfort, it's about energy, it's about mood, it's about quality of life. When your digestive system is sluggish, you may feel tired, irritable, or even anxious. It's amazing how interconnected everything is and how much better we feel when our bodies are in rhythm again. We've already touched on some of the key shifts happening in your bowels after 60, from slower digestion to changing hydration needs to the balance of bacteria in your gut. These aren't signs of something wrong, they're signals. They're gentle reminders from your body that it needs a little extra care, a little more attention, and maybe a few small adjustments to keep things flowing the way they're meant to. Now that we've started to understand how your gut begins to shift after 60, from slowing digestion to hydration changes, and even those tiny gut bacteria working behind the scenes, there's another piece to the puzzle we need to talk about, and that's movement, not just inside your body, but outside of it too. Because here's something that surprises a lot of people. Your bowels love it when you move. Physical activity isn't just good for your heart or your muscles. It's actually one of the most effective natural ways to keep your digestive system working smoothly. Think of your intestines like a garden hose. If you're sitting still all day, everything inside that hose settles and stagnates. But when you walk, stretch, or even just shift around throughout the day, you help create a gentle wave of motion that encourages things to move through. This doesn't mean you need to train for a marathon or hit the gym every day. Even a 10 to 15-minute walk after a meal can help get your digestion going. If you enjoy dancing, gardening, stretching, or swimming, great. The key is simply to move your body in a way that feels good and sustainable. That movement also helps relieve stress, which plays a bigger role in gut health than most people realize. And speaking of stress, that's another major player in what's going on in your bowels after 60. Our bodies don't separate physical stress from emotional stress. Whether you're dealing with worry, grief, changes in routine, or just the natural transitions of aging, your gut feels it too. You may have heard of the gut-brain connection, and it's real. Your digestive system is lined with millions of nerve cells, which is why it's often called your second brain. That's why when you're stressed or anxious, you might feel it in your stomach first. You feel tightness, queasiness, or maybe that old familiar phrase, butterflies. But over time, chronic stress can do more than just cause a nervous stomach. It can actually slow down digestion or lead to more sensitivity in the gut, making symptoms like bloating, constipation, or discomfort worse. So part of supporting your bowels after 60 means finding ways to support your peace of mind too. It could be as simple as practicing deep breathing when you wake up, or writing a few calming thoughts in a journal before bed. It might be meditation, prayer, or just sitting outside in silence for a few minutes each day. Stress management doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. Your gut will thank you for it. Now let's talk about something that might make you squirm a bit, but it's too important to ignore: your toilet habits. Yes, we're going there. Because how you go matters just as much as how often. One thing many people don't realize is that modern toilets actually aren't designed for optimal bowel movement. Our bodies are meant to be in more of a squatting position when we go. It straightens out the rectum and helps the muscles relax in a more natural way. But when we sit on a standard toilet, especially if our knees are lower than our hips, it creates a bit of a bend in the passageway, which can make things harder to pass. That's where something as simple as a footstool can make a world of difference. Just elevating your feet while sitting on the toilet helps mimic that natural squatting position, making it easier and more comfortable to go. It's a small adjustment that can relieve a lot of straining and pressure, and that alone can prevent hemorrhoids, fissures, and other issues that become more common as we age. And while we're talking about habits, it's also worth noting that timing and routine play a role too. Your body loves rhythm. If you're eating meals at irregular times, skipping breakfast, or rushing through your day without a pause, your digestive system doesn't always get the signals it needs to function well. Eating meals at consistent times and giving yourself a few moments to relax afterward, especially after breakfast, can train your body to develop a more regular bathroom schedule. It sounds simple, but it works. There is also the question of listening to your body's cues. So often, we feel the urge to go, but we're busy. We delay it. We tell ourselves, we'll wait until later, but the longer you ignore the urge, the harder it becomes. Your body gets used to holding it in, and eventually, the signal weakens. That's how irregularity can start to creep in. So when nature calls, answer it without delay and without guilt. That's not a luxury. It's part of good health. And of course, there are foods that make a difference. We touched on fiber earlier, but it's worth repeating. Soluble fiber, especially from whole fruits, oats and beans, helps to soften stool and keep things moving. Insoluble fiber, found in things like whole wheat, leafy greens, and seeds, helps add bulk and sweep the intestines clean. But just like with exercise, the key is consistency. A little fiber here and there won't do much, but weaving it into every meal creates real change over time. If fiber-rich foods upset your stomach, don't panic. Sometimes the shift just needs to happen slowly. Introduce one new food at a time. Drink plenty of water alongside it, and pay attention to how your body responds. Over time, your gut can adapt and strengthen. So, what's happening to your bowels after 60? It's a mix of slower movement, changing hydration needs, shifts in gut bacteria, emotional stress, and lifestyle rhythms that can either support or challenge your digestive system. The good news is, none of these changes mean you're broken or beyond help. They simply mean your body needs something a little different now, a little more support, a little more awareness, a little more care. And when you give it that care, when you move, hydrate, breathe, nourish, and listen, your body responds. Your digestion begins to ease. Your energy begins to rise. You feel lighter, more at ease, more connected to yourself. Let's keep going, because there are still a few more key shifts happening beneath the surface that can make a big difference in how your digestive system feels and functions. Now that we've uncovered how your habits, hydration, movement, and stress all play important roles in your digestive health, there's still one more piece we need to shine a light on: medications. This is one that often flies under the radar, especially because most of us trust that what our doctor prescribes is exactly what we need. And it usually is. But the truth is, as we age, the number of medications we take tends to increase. And with that, so does the potential for side effects. One of the most common side effects of many medications, especially those taken after 60, is constipation. Whether it's blood pressure medication, iron supplements, antacids, antidepressants, or even pain relievers, many of them slow down the muscles of the intestines or draw water away from the colon, making it harder to pass a bowel movement. And sometimes we don't even realize a new med is the cause of our gut discomfort until it becomes a pattern. So if you've noticed a change in your bowel habits after starting a new prescription, it's worth having a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist, not to stop taking it, but to ask whether it could be contributing to the problem and whether there are alternatives or adjustments that could help. Sometimes a simple switch in dosage or timing makes all the difference. Or your doctor might recommend a gentle stool softener or fiber supplement to balance things out. The key is to be open, honest, and proactive. You know your body better than anyone, and your comfort matters. But here's something even more empowering. Beyond medications, beyond the external things, your mindset plays a powerful role too. When it comes to digestive health, or any kind of health really, it's easy to feel defeated when things aren't working the way they used to. But aging isn't a one-way ticket to decline. It's a transition into a new phase of understanding your body, tuning in more closely, and adjusting with grace instead of frustration. Sometimes that means giving yourself permission to rest more. Sometimes it means creating a peaceful routine in the morning instead of rushing. And sometimes it means learning to laugh about the occasional gurgle or unexpected gas because, well, we're human, and our bodies are wonderfully imperfect. One of the most powerful things you can do after 60 is stop ignoring what your body is trying to tell you. That discomfort, it's a message. That irregularity, it's a signal. Not something to fear, but something to work with. When you view your digestive health as a daily conversation, not a battle, everything starts to shift. You start to feel less stuck, less embarrassed, and more in control. Let's not forget that community matters here too. So many people silently struggle with bowel issues, thinking they're the only one. But trust me, you're not. This is one of the most common concerns among people over 60, and yet it's often hidden under layers of shame or discomfort. But the moment we talk about it, the moment we bring it into the open, it loses its power to isolate us. So talk with your friends, talk with your doctor, join conversations online. When we support each other with honesty and compassion, healing becomes easier. And you never know, your story might help someone else feel less alone too. Now, if you've made it this far, I want you to take a moment to celebrate yourself. Really? Pause, breathe, and give yourself a little credit. You're here, learning, investing in your well-being, and that is no small thing. It means you care about your future. You want to feel good in your body, and you're willing to take those small steps to get there. And that mindset, that's where real change begins. So to quickly reflect, not to recap, but to simply hold it in your heart, your bowels after 60 aren't broken, they're just different. And they're asking for more attention, more water, more movement, more awareness of what you're eating, how you're breathing, and what you're feeling. You have tools, you have choices, you have the ability to support your digestion every single day and to feel more comfortable, more energized, and more yourself. I'd love to hear how you're doing on this journey. What's helped you? What's still a challenge? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone, and our little community here is full of wisdom. If this video helped you feel seen or supported in any way, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who might need a little encouragement. And if you're looking for some helpful resources, whether it's something to support hydration, digestion, or even a daily journal to reflect on your progress, check out the links in the description. I've added a few tools I personally recommend to help you feel more confident and comfortable every day. Here's to living your best life at any age, starting from the inside out.